Hey folks, man, this is Monk and we are back with another episode of Class of Cinematics. This is a show about the films that influenced and warped us as film watchers, man. And I'm joined as always my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, 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 yo.
Yeah, today we've got a wild one, folks, man. So this is going to be the episode about Howard the Duck, 1986, man. This is a sci-fi action film. And it's directed by Willard Hayek.
Good on the pronunciation. I'm glad I ain't have to do that.
I don't know if I even said that right.
I'd sound like I was sneezing when I said his last name.
But this film is based on a character, a comic book character that does have a pretty big cult following. But in the film, Howard the Duck is suddenly beamed from Duckworld, a planet of intelligent ducks with arms and legs, to Earth, where he lands in Cleveland. Wow, that's bad.
Duckworld to Cleveland. Ain't that a bitch?
There he saves rocker Beverly from thugs and forms a friendship with her. She introduces him to Phil, who works at a lab with scientist Dr. Jennings. When the doctor attempts to return Howard to his world, Jennings instead transfers an evil spirit into his body. And that's wild, dude. So let's get into this cast, man. This is a crazy, man. The amount of people they were able to get in this film. We got Lea Thompson, who plays Beverly, who's pretty much Howard's sidekick during this film. Yeah. We also get Tim Robbins, who plays a scientist, Chip Zine. Jeffrey Jones plays another scientist who becomes evil. He's the one that gets influence when they try to send him back and something bad happens.
Overlord.
And we've got, actually, I didn't know this, we've got two actors actually who play Howard the Duck in this film. We got Ed Gale and Jordan Prentice.
There was actually a total of 8 little people that wore the suit.
Were they like stunt doubles?
They were all different people that wore the suit, but the main was Ed Gale. And you know the crazy thing, real quick side note, Ed Gale also was credited for playing Chucky in Child's Play. They didn't, most of the time it was animatronics, but there was a couple scenes where the doll had to get up, and he was the one who did that. Yeah.
Okay, got Miles Chapin, Paul Guilfoyle, I messed that up. We got Liz Segal, Debbie Lee Carrington, Holly Robinson Pete, Richard Edson, if you remember, you'll recognize him when you see him. He felt like a small worm on a big hook in with the Crow.
Oh jeez, yeah, yup.
Thomas Dolby, Tommy Swerdlow, and just a bunch of other, smaller people. I do want to point out Virginia Capers as the police that tried to help Howard. But yeah, this is a wild film, man. So I'm gonna leave. You gotta have to steer this shit, man. What are you digging about this film?
Okay, well, what I like about this film most is how much I liked it when I was a child. Okay, and I know that doesn't really have much to do with the movie.
I mean, that's what we do. That's part of what we're doing on this show.
That's what we do. And my mom's could vouch. This was my most rented Errol's video. Once she no longer allowed me to rent Ringing Bells, which was a little animated film, and I rented the bejeebies out of that one, and she was like, "You are no longer allowed to rent that. I'm tired of hearing that little fucking lamb scream all the time. Pick a different movie." So Howard the Duck it was, and it was continual. I was about that duck life, but. One thing I'll say is, we have to keep in perspective that this film did come out in
86.
So, and it looks like it. It does. The animatronic duck, it looked good in 86 for me. Yeah, I mean, but I was also,
I think for me, the duck looks fine, but I think also what's lacking in it maybe is the expression of I feel like certain, when we're doing this animatronic stuff, you've got more expression in the eyes and stuff, where his is kind of limited to just opening and closing, for the most part. So I think that might have limited the expression range. Like if you look at something like Ninja Turtles that would come out not so far after this, you had the main makeup that could do certain things, but then I think they made extra heads to get extra expressions.
Yes, yes. And the thing also that limited Howard was the way the
flexible lips,
the bill.
Yeah, the bill.
And, not for nothing, Robin Williams was supposed to be the voice of Howard the Duck, and they said that he walked out because he could not go through the process. He just got so frustrated with trying to like move his voice to the way, or project his voice to the way that this bill moved. So he backed out.
Yeah,
He's like, I can't do it.
Because essentially just like this, like where's when you
there's
look
no
at
lip wrinkles or nothing.
Yeah, when you look at traditional like what we know, Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, their beaks they whistle, they do like, even though it is supposed to be a hard structure, I think what works for them in the animation world, they weren't afraid to just like, the beak is typically solid, but we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have to flex this thing and make it move to emulate how
lips,
a person
human
talks.
lips,
and and help with human expressions. Like when he gets mad, you can't tell. His eyes get bigger, and he might.
But then when he gets excited, his eyes get bigger.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
when him and Beverly were about to get it going, he got wide eyed. So I'm like, well, are you nervous? Are you excited? What's happening here?
It definitely, I think, limited what they could do with the impact of this, because I mean it is an outrageous story, man. I think, like I said, man, this thing had a really big, well, not big, but a nice cult following.
It does. I'm part of that cult. I do still follow this film.
What happened with the comic books as well is too, this had to be watered down. He's kind of more of a
they compared him to Deadpool.
Yeah, he's more like an older teen, kind of character.
Yes.
But I feel like this version was more skewed toward much younger audiences. Especially with the PG rating, that it carries, and it still pushes limits.
I was about to say the PG rating pushed it very hard. I mean,
we got.
Lea Thompson is walking around almost naked.
We got duck titties
twice.
Ditties, like it's what is going on here?
Yes, and like I said, Lea Thompson walks out. She has a little thing and like some I don't know what the. I guess they were like bikini cut draw. I mean, when she bends over the bed, you see all cheeks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Wow, dude.
I was like,
what was getting away with this thing?
Right. So. But one thing also to keep in perspective for all of those that just love that Howard, I don't like that Howard. The one that we're talking about, I can get with it. This guy, he robbed me, man. He took me for bad, took my monies, man. But one thing that we got to keep in perspective for those that follow the MCU and all this Marvel stuff, and all these films that are coming out. And respectfully and justifiably so are pulling bank. This was officially the first feature-length Marvel film. You know what I'm saying? All of the other Marvel films before this were made for TV films. We had what was it?
The Incredible Hulk stuff that they were doing.
Captain America in 1944 was a serial film, so not a feature length. Then we had Spider-Man in 1977, made for TV. Doctor Strange in 78, made for TV. Captain America 1 and Captain America 2 both dropped in 79, all made for TVs. And then after this, we had the Incredible Hulk, like the Trial of the Hulk. And all that
those
stuff.
TV movies. Yeah.
But there is like room for argument, because it's been said that even though this film is being credited as the first feature-length Marvel film, they said that the film Red Sonja was actually based off of Red Sonja, the comic book character, but it's not. It doesn't have like the Marvel logo. This on the back of the DVD says Marvel.
I'm not sure at that time if Marvel owned them or I forgot, but I'm pretty sure though a Marvel creator created that character.
Yes.
Based on another character that was showing up in the Robert E. Howard writings.
And I think where the translation is lost a little bit is then if you're going to credit Red Sonja, then you also got to then bring Conan into the elements and things like that, which Conan was definitely not a Marvel credited film. So Howard, I mean, you got that. So moving forward, like you said, we get this cast. I mean, Tim Robbins is a 100% dork in this, but I like the effort that he's putting into it. He's kind of annoying, but and it's just wild that like after this, the next film I saw him in was Jacob's Ladder, and I was like, whoa, this is complete tone shift right here. But he's trying. But like we were talking about, before we started recording, the standout is Jeffrey Jones. He embodies his role. You know what I'm saying? Like he's giving 150,000%, especially once he transitions to the Dark Overlord. Like he's doing the Overlord and all that stuff going on. And we actually get some cool makeup effects, like as his face is distorting and sinking in, especially like when they're in the diner and everything. His hair goes all like, looks all Albert Einstein and everything. But what kind of then takes away from the makeup effects is just these choppy special effects. Anytime he was shooting electricity, it looked like cheese.
I mean, this thing has a $35 million budget, which I think is kind of high for what we got on the screen, but I think some of that could probably be actor salaries and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't look like 35 million on the screen, especially for the time that this was made. Like that's a big budget film for this era. Like Willow cost 35 million.
Yes, but and that's the thing. Like it says right here, executive producer George Lucas spent $2 million on Howard the Duck suit. You know what I'm saying? So
$2 million. Somebody seen him coming.
Yeah, they did. You know what? He probably bought the suit from the same place I got that damn duck from. That is the worst looking Howard the Duck ever.
Wow.
But and that's the thing too. Like this film, it costs careers, bro. Like George Lucas, like it said, like I was reading all these notes, man. George Lucas thought that this film, after, kind of falling off after the Star Wars success and everything, he thought this film was going to resurge his career. It did not. And then the director, William Hayuk, this was the last film he ever directed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like before this, what was the one, the Eddie Murphy one?
Best Defense.
Best Defense. He did that. It flopped. He did this. He never directed another movie. And then is somewhere in my notes. Yes. And then shortly after the film was released, Frank Pierce quit his job as the head of Universal Pictures.
Wow.
They said Lea Thompson was lucky to ever get a role after this, but I actually liked her. And that, you know what? Bump all this. I'm gonna say something positive. I like the music. It's so 80s, and she's kind of just, it starts off, when after he gets kind of projected from Duckland to Cleveland, and I like the music, and she's actually the one doing all the singing. The one song I don't like is the Howard the Duck song. That is like, dude, we could.
It does get a little, We
didn't need that, you know what I'm saying? But I get it, that. When I saw the ending of this film and they're doing the whole Howard the Duck thing, it instantly brought me back to Ninja Turtles Part 2, where Vanilla Ice was doing the ninja rap. I was like, oh man, there's two movies where I've seen where the main song that they're using to try to push this film is so very unnecessary. But outside of that, she did do all the singing, and I thought that was cool. And the music, like I said, this film is nostalgia. It's 80s all the way through and through. If you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, you're gonna hit a lot of snags. A lot of snags. But another thing that I really I like the way it started. You know what I'm saying? Like where it just shows. We don't really see Howard. He just he walks in, I guess, from work or whatever, and you see this shadow. They got this smooth jazzy jazz going on, and he just, hard day at work, throws the keys down, pops open a duck-sized beer, and then you just see the amount of imagination and creativity that they put into this duck world. Even the poster, instead of Flash Dance, it was Splash Dance, and you know what I'm saying.
I see what they were doing, but for me, maybe if I was younger, those gags would have hit me, or in a certain way. But some of them were just like. I mean, it was wild, man.
Watching this movie as an adult, it views differently. I'll say that.
Well, the interesting thing is we've seen this character have a cameo in some of these later Marvel things, and I wonder what they're going to do, because I think there's more possibility to work with this character instead of making his world just a copy of our world. Give him his own world, and I think they have the potential to do that if they explore this, character in the future. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, and then like because we got him as a cameo at the end of Guardians, like they could find a way to intertwine him and the raccoon. Like they come from the same world where like animals.
They actually, I think, have a series or a mini series with those two characters combined. Right, him and Rocket are out there and doing adventures,
and that makes all the sense in the world. Like instead of it just being a duck world where ducks are like humans, it could be like all animals are like humans. Just like there are a bunch of different kinds of humans, there could be a bunch of different kind of animal. Human-like figures, you know what I mean?
I feel like where this suffers is just the limitations of the creators involved at the time. I don't know what Lucas saw to even decide to make this, but for whatever reason, the spirit, I think, of the book wasn't translated into this, and I think the fact that they probably had to put this duck in a human world versus putting him out where he's at, like in this outer space, this kind of Han Solo type duck guy, like you're limited with the budget and stuff like that too.
And then like you said, like he's Han Solo in it, but in the comics, like he actually he knew what he was doing. Like he knew how to tote a pistol, he knew how to be a renegade, and he knew how to fend for himself. In this, he is literally a duck out of water. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like I was like, whoa, and it's not even Freestyle Friday, but like he's just we're so focused on like him just being confused and trying to fit in a place where he obviously doesn't fit in. But it shows whenever he engages in some kind of a conflict, he can handle himself. But I mean, even at the end, like he didn't break out no moves. He was just fortunate that at this particular lab they had 2 go-karts with world-saving lasers on them. Not just one, but 2, because he messed them both up. Without those, he don't save the world. The Dark Overlord takes over. And not for nothing, you could tell Lucas was all the way in this, because once the Overlord got out of the scientist and we see him in raw form, he kind of looked like something that would hang with Jabba the Hutt. Like I was like, whoa! It's a recreation of Jabba the Hutt with a scorpion.
But also
tail
reminded me too some other movies we've seen recently where even like Men in Black, I feel like stole that from this a little bit. Like when
or even Coneheads. And I was like, yo, is this a Garth Ark? Is this a Garth Ark's cousin or something? Come on, man! But like I said, this one, I still as bad as this film really is, I still love it. I still do. I'll still watch it. I'll still find a reason to enjoy it, because it brings me back to a simpler time. You know what I'm saying? And when a movie can do that, I'm all for it. This is not one, like if I were to see this for the first time yesterday, I'd have ripped it a new one, and I'd have did it with a Colgate smile. And
okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But it's the nostalgia for me that really carries this film, and I appreciate the attempt. But like, I would love to see them actually recreate this character. Like you said, put him in a different setting, in a different world. Throw him in the MCU somewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? And give him another crack at it.
I don't know what the plan is for Guardians 3, but there might be a chance that he could show up in this. But also, I think there was supposed to be a Howard the Duck TV show for Hulu, like an animated version. Okay. And that might have, I don't know if that's still in development. That might have got canceled, during the reshuffling,
If they're going to do something like that, what they need to do, there is a line in the sand. If you're going to do anything else Howard the Duck, it needs to have a hard R rating, and it needs to be, geared more towards the adult crowd. That's the way his character is. The same way that they had to drop us 2 Deadpools, like the real one and then the one that's child friendly. Because otherwise, you take the crude humor out of it. You take, all of the sexual innuendos. You take the personality out of Howard the Duck. What is left? What is left? And then he is pretty much just a person in a duck suit that just doesn't really look appealing to anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's, I just read that the Howard the Duck animated TV show has been canceled. So, but I don't think we'll see the end of this character, man. I feel like I feel like he might pop up in Guardians in a significant way, and that might lead to, you know, something else coming down the pipeline, man. Because like I said, man, if we're in this phase of Marvel where we got the Earth stuff, but then I think they're also trying to expand into space stuff. I mean, we're seeing that with, you know, the Guardians film, and there's, you know, other stuff that they've got coming down. I think even Captain Marvel 2, you know, the Marvels, that's gonna, you know, probably get more outer space stuff. It looks like Nick Fury's hanging in space, so who knows, man? Who knows, you know? Yeah. And I think this is interesting, could be a fun character if they portray it and do it the right way, man.
Yes,
you know?
100%.
So anything else you want to mention?
I did think that it was very funny upon viewing this time around. There's a disclaimer at the beginning of this film that the views and the dialogue in this film expressed is solely for the purpose of this film, and, you know, it's not to create, you know, this, you know, the other thing that they should have put in this damn disclaimer, Quack kills.
I mean, coming in '86, I think that was a big problem in the country, man. There's a lot of quack going around, quack babies.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah. This was a wild one, folks, man. I don't know, man. I feel like if people that do enjoy it, this is like like a very high acquired taste, man. You know?
Yeah. It's messed up, and it's hurting my heart that we have to hard boil this egg, but
cooking this duck, man. Wow, this is crazy, man. Yeah, I think we can wrap this one up, folks, man. This has been another Classes of Cinematics episode. And you can catch us out at Classes of Cinematics on Instagram. You can follow me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can catch me at Bobby Blockbuster 118 on Instagram.
All right, folks, man, we are out of here.